So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, I am super excited. Literally, I have watched this movie so many times with my little girls. They sing the songs, and it never gets too old. It's been rewatched, I think, in the first weeks 180 million times, which is astonishing. And we've got Dolores from the show, Adassa. Adassa, welcome to the show, my love.
Thank you for having me.
And it's an absolute pleasure. And this is going to definitely give me some daddy points and make me even more famous at the school. So I cannot wait to ask you some questions. So straight off the bat, you know, when you signed on to be Dolores, did you ever think that it was going to be this global phenomenon? Because it literally doesn't get old. It's still being rewatched and kids are still singing it today.
I think there's a phenomenon that is going to keep going for many, many years. It's really incredible what it's become. And it's because of the fans, it's because of the kids, it's because of everyone that feels identified with one character or another, that they go, yeah, I'm the Luisa in my family. Like, I'm carrying everybody on my shoulders. Or somebody that says, yeah, I completely identify with Mirabel and I don't know what my talents are, what my gifts are, but I'm here. And or like Dolores, you know, just you're there to pass on the information and see how everything goes and try not to get in the way, but help out as best you can. And this movie is what it is because of the people, because the
Mm.
story really hits home. You know, there's not a real villain in this film, but within it, we find ourselves. We find forgiveness towards family members that we previously maybe have not made up with. We found understanding, and we found that secrets sometimes lead towards separation and alienation. But if we all come from a place of truth, it gets us further along than anything else can ever do.
And do you think that's why it resonates with adults as well as kids? Because obviously the kids absolutely love it. But from an adult's point of view, it's just an awesome film. And I've got to admit, there were a few tears shed throughout the film from myself, which my kids thought was hilarious, but it's so well written. I mean, why do you think it's been so successful? I mean, what is the magic source of Encanto?
I think one of the enchanting things of Encanto is the fact that it's written the way that real life is. It's not perfect, but it's mine, you know? And it's written for a point of view that doesn't just happen to be fun for a 2-year-old, but also relative to grandma, you know,
Mm.
to mom, to dad. It's it hits many demographics, it hits many age groups. So you can laugh along with the 2-year-old when you see the kids running around, and you can cry with grandma when you finally see her revealing her deepest fears.
Mm. I mean, obviously, people know you as Dolores, but you have got an enormous catalogue of music. I mean, from working with Missy Elliott to Pitbull to Flo Rida to Snoop, I could literally go on for a week with all the awesome people, you know, that you've worked with. So, how does someone go from that music? How did you get the role of Dolores?
I would have to say it was a miracle. Because even though I have a large body of work, I've never done acting, you know? I mean, in a video, I guess you can write a perspective and you can act it out, you know, when you're a musician. But from there to like, okay, let's take a script, let's read some sides and let's banter. I had never had that experience. And I've had to thank the amazing people in the casting department at Disney, because one of them, her name is Grace Kim, which is the casting director's assistant to Jamie Sparrow Roberts, who has been the casting director for Raya and the Last Dragon, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, I mean, Mean Girls, so many amazing films. And they were the ones that found me. So they saw my YouTube channel, saw a video of a song that I had, and they found the sound that I thought they were looking for, I guess. And then they were the ones that contacted me through my YouTube channel and asked me if I would like to audition for the role of Dolores.
Mm. And obviously, when you got the role, I was quite astonished to read the fact that you was in hospital, suffering with complications from COVID-19. So you audition and then you get the role. I mean, what was that experience like? Because I think everyone's been through hard times over the last 2 years, but you yourself, I don't think it gets harder than that.
Now, when you have to face your kids and you see the end of your life. So to me, during the casting process, because at first I didn't know it was Encanto. They just told me they wanted me to audition for an undisclosed film. By the time I went through the first set of auditions, that's when they revealed, hey, it's an Encanto. This is the movie. It's about inspired in Colombia, and this is your character. And so I was on cloud nine, but I still had gone through the last round, which is to meet the directors and to meet with lin-manuel and meet with the producers. So once I did that, I thought, this is Disney. They can have anybody in the world. And so after I finished my audition, my callback, I wasn't feeling so well. So yes, I went to the hospital to get it checked up. I thought I was pregnant. We have 7 kids. So I thought, oh boy, here goes number 8. But it wasn't that I was pregnant. And so as they were trying to search what it was, they gave me some medication to try to make my symptoms go down. That's when I start getting paralyzed. I couldn't speak. When the night before I was rapping, Satisfied from, Hamilton. And then I couldn't even say my name. I couldn't stand up when I drove myself to the hospital, and I had to be wheeled out in a wheelchair. So part of it was I felt like, well, I fulfilled that, kid's dream when I was 9 to work with Disney, even if it was just to be there with these producers and incredible directors and just have them hear my family story. So I was just trying to survive. I wrote my will, I hugged my kids, and I just waited for death. I did not think that I would come out of it. It was getting paralyzed sometimes when I was in the shower, and my husband had to carry me out, place me on the bed, and we'd have to wait it out. We went to different hospitals to get different opinions on what was going on until we finally met with a neurologist, and he told me, with COVID, there's so many unknowns, and there's no way for us to calculate how long you'll be symptomatic. We can run a spinal tap, run more tests to try to figure it out. And then I just said, no, I'd just rather go die at home. And during the time that I was home and trying to relearn how to walk and talk, and I had to speak in very hushed tones to my kids just to communicate, that's when Jamie Spear Roberts herself called us to congratulate us for the part. And my husband said, you need to tell them you can't take this. You can't even walk right now. And I told my husband, you call him back if I'm dead. I'm taking this. And so I mustered enough strength to say, thank you so much. When do I start? And then they said 3 weeks later, and then we just put it in the hands of God. I believe that God saved me, and everything after that was just a dream come true, but it didn't come without a struggle, a very hard one. And I learned a huge lesson that, a lot of people think maybe this isn't true, it's all fluff, they're just trying to blow it out of proportion. But for me, that I lived it, and I'm still learning how to be under new circumstances. I'm just glad to be alive and be well again.
Definitely a miracle. And I've got to say, this pandemic and COVID has definitely taught us, to cherish the things closest to us and not to take things for granted, because anything could happen. But I'm really, really pleased that, you pulled through, and you 7 kids. I mean, how do you manage 7 kids? I've got 2 and a grown-up stepson, and literally I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, 2 girls. I mean, how do you manage those 7 kids, and what do they think of Mummy being now a Disney princess? Is that what you refer to yourself as?
You know, You make it happen. I think a lot of people nowadays believe that if you have kids, your life is over, your dreams are over, you belong to the children. And I'm here to say no. There's time for both. Maybe a little less sleep for the parents, but it can be done. Like you, I do have a blended family. So the eldest is my stepson, and then I gave birth to the other six. And all seven of them require time, attention, and everything. But at the same time, I think, what kind of a role model am I if I can't show them that it is possible to do all of it? And I just show them, yes, you just need to work a little smarter, you
Mm.
know? So there are things I do turn it down. And sometimes the things that I turn down is money. Because if I go, you know what, my kids are having a recital, I can't get that moment back. That's a priceless moment to enjoy a birthday party or going out to the beach or just sitting down with my kids and listening to them talk to me about their weekend or the boyfriend or whatever it is they're going through, you know? So you make time and then you learn to say no. And no usually comes to money or an opportunity, but it can never override a moment.
Mm.
You know, that moment that you miss that ballet recital, or just that moment to have a one on one time, a walk, a talk with them. So there are rules in place that my husband and I have put in. So I travel 3 weekends out of the month, and then one full week I stay home. And during those other times, Mondays through Thursdays, I keep myself completely available for my kids, unless, like right now, my husband has kid duty right now, so I can be with you. And then that's how we tag team. But we make sure that we never forget why we do anything. Am I doing this to become famous, or am I doing this to give my family a better life? So if I'm not paying attention to the family, no amount of money will satisfy the reason. And for
Mm.
me, my why, my reason is to have a comfortable family life.
And what do they think of you being Dolores and being a Disney princess?
Okay, they love it. And sometimes it's like, okay, the other day we were at Publix, which is, we go shopping for food. And then they see a friend and they're like, oh, Mom, do the thing. And I'm like, right here, like in the toilet paper aisle, okay, I guess we're gonna do the thing. And then I'm just way about, grew to live in fear, Bruno stuttering, stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. And I'm like, okay, grab the toilet paper now.
I bet you get invited to so many parties, though. So many kids parties. They're like, yeah, invite her, invite her. But talking about
Yes.
the music is obviously written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which he's a lyrical genius. That man must be out of this world. What is he like to work with? Because he literally has got the Midas touch with everything he does.
He's absolutely incredible. And I think that what makes him as humble and wonderful as he is because he lived a different life. It wasn't like, I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda, I'm great. I'm going to graduate high school and straight to Broadway. I mean, he was a substitute teacher. He lived a normal life. He knew what it was to have a dream and may or may not come true. And he knows what it is to invest everything into it. So when you get to know him now as a genius that he never forgets where he came from. So he's so genuine. You talk to him and it's like he's your best friend forever. And yet he is Lin-Manuel Miranda. So you have that respect that you're like, I'm talking to one of the greatest people, one of the ones that has made Latinos be seen, be heard, and to really break the boundaries of what is possible
Mm.
and make that a possibility for all of us. Now kids can look at this film and say, I can be an actor. I can do this. I can see myself now when they used to not see
Mm.
themselves in, especially in a principal. So when you meet the man, it's like, you are so down to earth. He's like, hey, how are you? It's like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen you. It's like you were cousins or something.
Yeah, yeah. It comes across literally like the man next door that just seems so calm and collective. I mean, the next question is actually from my daughter Lois.
Oh,
She's 8 years old, and she wanted to know what's been your favorite thing about playing Dolores.
oh my goodness. My favorite thing is meeting all the kids around the world. Because when I go up to them and I say, the only one married, the only one worried about the magic is you and the rats talking in the walls. Oh, and Luisa, I heard her eye twitching all night. That's beautiful. It's so much fun to see, react to it.
And how on earth can you sing so quickly? Because listening to how you sing and lyrically, how difficult is that? Because I'm just astonished on how you sort of sing and rap so quickly. I mean, is that just years of work? I mean, does that come naturally?
Well, I did rap since I was a little girl. So that has been what I dedicated 25 years of my life to. So it comes second nature. Now, with Lin-Manuel Miranda, he had a very specific vision about what he wanted. And so when I did the audition, it was with, let me take this AirPod out because sometimes with the delay.
Oh,
Yes?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So here we go.
Oh no, no,
Feels like
no!
to
It's
match wits with someone at your level. What the hell is a catch? It's the feeling of freedom of seeing the light. It's been freckling with the key and the kite. You see it right. That is the rap that I auditioned with. And then I didn't know that what he was looking for was that grew to live in fear, but no stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. It's a heavy lift with the gift so humbling. Always left the will and the family fumbling, grappling with prophecies they couldn't understand. Do you understand? He has such a distinctive way. I knew I could do it because I could keep up with that pace. Well,
mm,
he's
mm.
pretty intense. He's incredible.
And obviously, I've noticed the cast from interviews have said that when they were recording their parts for the film, it was all remotely. I mean, were you recording remotely as well? And what's your favorite memory of actually working on the movie?
I was here in my studio in Nashville, Tennessee. So you're actually here in my room. This is where I'm gonna lift this so you can see it.
Oh wow.
There's a recording booth right there. Let's see if I can get that in the angle. And then in this room has a whole setup here inside of our home. But it did take quite a little bit to get assessments and security approved and everything. One of my most memorable moments was when my daughter got to be part of the film. Her name is Bella, and she got cast. So you can tell Lois when she was 8 years old into this film.
Oh.
And she's one of the kids that runs around, the one that says, she was about to tell us about our super awesome gift. She's the
Oh.
screaming one in there. Uh, she was acting like a boss. Like she was like, "Hey, Yvette, how are you? I love your cats." She was so down to earth and everything. When I was like sweating over here as a mom. Another moment was when Lin-Manuel popped into the screen, and it was my first time working with him when it was a time for the rap, and just kind of like I closed my eyes and I was like, "Okay, I hear what you did with it, but." Hear me out. I don't think she should sing an octave higher. I think she should do it an octave lower. And he was so open to listening. And that's what ends up being in the film. Instead of going, good to live in fears, I
Mm,
went, good to live in fear. So
that's awesome.
that, I guess he said yes, because I'm still here.
And I've got another question from a little girl called Hannah, who's 5. She wants to know, did you enjoy singing in Encanto? Which I'm guessing the answer.
Absolutely, yes. It will go down in history of my life as one of the most dramatic and beautiful moments ever because I was able to experience the joy, the fun, and even though it was at a distance, once we finally met each other in LA, it was like we were always family. And hearing our voices together, So lovely. Every piece of music is a jewel in this film, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. And I will keep singing all of these songs until people are sick of it.
And talking about singing all these songs, like what Coco did with the concert, is there any plans on an Encanto concert to celebrate, Colombian music and everything about the movie?
I know right now there is a band that is going on tour that they play the music and then they show the video. Now, as to all of us getting together and doing it as a cast, I gotta say, there is some talks, and that's why they don't tell me things because they know I tell. But yes, soon you will see. And yes, yes, yes.
Well, you know what? I cannot
I
wait.
can't say when,
I,
but I'm just saying, keep your eyes on Disney
I
Plus.
was saying the Oscars was awesome to watch. I was a bit gutted that we didn't hear the full song in its full glory, but I can understand. Obviously, it's the Oscars. They're going to remix it. I mean, what was that experience like actually performing on the Oscars? Because it's one of the biggest events, yearly for the movie industry.
It was lovely to be together after a couple of years, to actually be tangible people.
Mm.
And at the Oscars, there were so many great people there. I know I saw Brad Pitt, obviously, everything that happened and went down, because I was actually standing in my position for the performance right in front of Will Smith and Jada, and right across from John Travolta. So, yeah, it was a pretty star-studded event, and it was surreal. It was lovely to have been given the opportunity that even though We Don't Talk About Bruno wasn't nominated, it still got some light during the Oscars. Now, we didn't know what we were going to do until we got there for the practice, and we weren't allowed to obviously say anything. But for me, that I've done so many great things, I was just happy to be included and be there. But I did feel sad for all of the kids, which were really expecting to hear We Don't Talk About Bruno for the
Mm.
first time ever, by the cast. And even Camilo, Renzi Feliz, who plays Camilo, he wasn't even on stage with us, who is part of the song.
Mm.
But, we're not the ones that dictate what happened there. We had a great time. We shared a wonderful moment. And then for American Idol, we were asked to perform the song, and they really did an amazing job. And the contestants during that moment sang amazingly. So that was really fun because they even had the digitalized version of the casita. But Oscars was also a wonderful opportunity for other people to listen to the song, even if it was a different version.
Mm. I mean, did you get to? I mean, obviously, I normally ask my guests, do you keep anything from any of the shows or films you've been in? So it's quite difficult as it's animated. Have you kept anything from any like rap gifts or any gifts from the actual studios to say thank you?
Oh, yes. I actually have a framed picture from the animator who animated my character. One of the first ones who ever did my character, hand drew a picture for me of Dolores and signed it.
Mm.
So it's like beautiful. It's on my wall. And then I have the Encanto book, and they gave us a picture of all of us together at the premiere in Los Angeles, and a lot of other wonderful gifts that have given me along the way, and I keep them all. And then I also keep the gifts that I'm given by the fans because they matter so much to me. One of them did my first ever Dolores doll because there isn't one that is
Yeah.
like bigger than the one in the set for Walmart. It's just like this big. And she did a full doll that she made with her own hands. Another one did like a blanket. I've received so many pieces of art, and I keep everything. Yeah.
Mm. The fans are actually fantastic, and I've got to say, your commitment to them is incredible from your social media when you go to conventions. Have you got any plans on maybe
Thank you.
crossing the pond to come to the UK? Because Jessica Darrow did her first convention not that long ago, and she really enjoyed it. It was her first one, and she was absolutely lines out the
Ooh.
door.
I would love to. If I got an invite, I would completely be there like yesterday. I absolutely would. And I love doing the songs live too. So even here in the United States, and I was also on tour in Canada just a couple weeks ago, I love to sing the Encanto songs live. So I do some of my own music and some Colombian favorites, and I add in there some of that Encanto music because I really do enjoy it. And I love going to Comic Cons. That's something that I started doing this year, and I'm blown away. It's such a different way to connect with the audience. So if I get an invite to go to the UK, I'm all there.
There we go, to all the Comic Con organisers. And what I really like is that you actually put the outfit on as well, which I think is just magical because
I
them
do.
kids must go
I love
crazy.
it.
And so
It brings
what's
it to life for the kids.
it does, and I've got to say, nothing warms my heart more than seeing my girls singing along and looking at the screen in just awe. And for me, being a parent, it's all about happiness. And what Disney are doing, they're getting more in touch with representation, of different
Yes.
cultures and different backgrounds. Because obviously, the only way we're going to change this world is by our kids, is by educating them and making them realize that there are different cultures, different backgrounds, and we shouldn't see them differently. We're one race at the end of the day. We're human. So it's really nice to see their hearts, and it's just fantastic. It's so magical. It really, really is. So what I wanted to ask just before we wrap this up is what's next for you? Are you working on more music? And how is your TikTok account? Because I saw the social media around your TikTok account. I mean, that is shocking. It really is.
I'm working on more music and I'm working on a concept that is so much fun. I'm doing the Adassa tours as Dolores, and that's very Latin influenced show, and that's the one that I'm touring for the rest of the year. And I also have my American record that is coming out under Naomi Black, which is the combination of my husband's production skills and my vocal skills, and we kind of come together. And so that's my artistic name. When it comes to just all things American, it's Naomi Black. And so I'm coming up with that record as well as continuing on with more work in film and TV. So I'm really excited about all the upcoming projects. But I'm really, really stoked to continue going on Comic Cons and traveling the world, just meeting Encanto fans and spending that time with them and answering their questions and taking pictures and just getting to know them.
And
Now,
sharing the love.
on
Yes.
another note, TikTok. Ay,
Hmm.
eso sí. Somebody hacked my account, and I guess TikTok should hire that hacker because even TikTok has not been able to recuperate everything. So I lost about 9 million likes that I had on that channel. So even though you see that the videos still have the hearts, they don't show up on my top page. And I guess no matter what I do, TikTok hasn't been able to recoup that. So that was a hard hit because at first they deleted everything. And then TikTok did, took a few days to recoup my account, but it hit me hard. And then I go, dang it, I guess you really become a star when people care enough to delete your account.
That is very true, and I'm just shocked that did someone get in contact with you to try and offer to fix it, and they seemed a bit.
I luckily had a contact because I did join TikTok when the movie came out and everything. And so I had somebody that had done a few live events that was my contact through TikTok. And so they kind of helped me. But through the system of TikTok itself, they've kind of just been like, oh, I guess that's all we can do. And I'm like, wow, they could totally, totally hire that guy because he knew what he was doing even more than a lot of the people there. But I guess I'm still crossing my fingers. I'm still putting in, more requests to please check into my account. But I'm just happy that some of the footage is there, especially the fans that had.
Mm.
I had some great moments with fans, and I had shown their artwork and things like that, and just talking to them. And I didn't want to lose all of that amazing, essence in this. And so they were able to recoup most of it, not all of it, but like probably like 65%.
Mm.
But anyways, you I've come from the dead. I almost feel so. I'm like, I can come back from this, and then it's up to the fans. You know, if they like what I'm doing and they show up to the lives, then maybe in a year or so, maybe I'll get those numbers back up. But I'm here for them. It's
And
nothing
you
else
and
for
you've
me.
got plenty of time, and I'm sure that the fans will get you back up there. And yeah, this hacker is obviously either lonely or obviously needs more purpose in life. So maybe he needs to watch Encanto and be
Yes,
enlightened. So it
but I
needs
will
it needs
rebuild.
to do that.
I will rebuild.
Yeah. No, Adassa, you've been an absolute glorious guest. It's been a great
Thank
opportunity to get you on, and I know my girls will absolutely love watching this as well as all their classmates. But keep safe and stay super, and I look forward to this concert maybe on Disney Plus in the very near future with Encanto. So
you.
keep my fingers crossed.
Thank you. And thank you for giving your time as well and for everyone listening. It doesn't matter how impossible a dream may seem, as long as you're walking the steps towards achieving it, doors and windows will open. And as you're walking, you'll find those crumbs that will lead you to where you need to go. Don't worry so much about the success tied to that, let's say, image of your reality. Focus on how fun it is to be on that journey, and you will be successful every step of the way. And then, if one day you do have the success that you were hoping for, then you'll be like, cool, but I enjoyed the whole journey. Never give up on your dreams, and always believe that anything is possible if you're willing to put in the work and take the first step.